Oh, yes. Hello. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice and funky. Mm-hmm. Well. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Here we go. Oh, boy. All right. Can y'all hear me? Let me know. Make sure. Okay. Cool kids. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hello. So glad you're here. Hey. You sweet friends. Hey, it's so cool that y'all are watching this right now. We're gonna have a family meeting. That's what's about to happen. Okay. We're gonna have a family meeting. I have coffee. If you don't have coffee, go get some. Get some beverage of some kind. Okay. Because we're gonna have a family meeting here. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, we're gonna start this out right. I know there are some questions that are already in chat, which we can talk about in a little bit. But here's kind of the main thing that I want to do. I wasn't planning on going live today, but dang it, I've been thinking about stuff for a couple days. We've been talking about things internally. You guys may have noticed lots of questions, lots of things popping up on the community tab of the YouTube here. And I'm a level with you. Okay. We have been focusing a lot on making some just killer, like masterclass level training stuff for Resolve, which I know y'all are super excited about. I know you're into that. But here's the deal. We really, really want to make sure that what we're making is actually going to help. Okay? Is actually going to help you learn more of Resolve, learn more about post-production, learn more about, basically just, we want to kind of tear down the things that are in the way of you making what you want to make. All right. That's really kind of our goal here. I love when people are creative. I love when there's this point where you realize something that you didn't realize before, or something starts to click. That's what I really like. That's why I teach. That's why we do the YouTube channel here. So me and the team, if you don't know, it's me and 4 other people work on the YouTube and the training and ground control and that kind of thing. So we've been hard at work figuring out the best things. So I figured it was about time that we had a family talk, and we discussed, okay, what is actually helpful for you? Because I haven't ever done a stream like this where we just get to talk. I'm not going to be showing a lot of Resolve stuff today. Maybe if we get through this and it's just a super clear, amazing answer, then we could do some Q&A at the end. I don't know. But here's what I really want. I want to figure out, I basically want to co-plan with you guys on what kind of classes we're going to make here, because we just released a color class a month or 2 ago, which you guys have loved. It's been amazing. There's, I think, been a lot of realization of like, oh, I can color grade, and this is awesome, and I kind of understand the workflow now, which has been really cool to see. So we want to be able to do that with other parts of Resolve. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. To kind of start things off, we've been talking about doing an editing course. All right. This is just full on secrets that we weren't going to reveal, but guess what? Now it's happening. Okay. We're doing an editing course, and I have a couple concerns about that. The first one is, I asked y'all what the main things were in the way of you making good edits, of editing tools and stuff. And a lot of people came back with things that aren't editing. So I said, what's your main struggle when it comes to editing? And you guys said color or fusion. That's not editing. Like, that's different. That's different than editing. So what is that about? So we were kind of thinking about, okay, well, like, is it unclear what we mean by editing? And if it is unclear of what we mean by editing, then how do we make it more clear? And also, are you guys looking for editing training? Like, because when I think of editing, I think of putting things together in a timeline, putting things, like taking clips and putting them in order and building a story. Okay. Resolve editing page. Yeah, sure. Exactly. Like, it's all about actually putting together your story. It's kind of the hub of building your project, right? So when we're talking about editing, we're talking about content, we're talking about timing, we're talking about storytelling, we're talking about how to show something well, how to get a feeling across, get a story across, that kind of thing. That's what I mean by editing. Okay? So then the question is that something that you guys feel like is a hurdle that you have to jump over in order to make things? Or do you feel like it comes pretty naturally, right? So is it more about, I want to kind of, I need more help with kind of the fancier stuff and like putting together a story? It's like, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Let me know. We do have slow mode on just because people get crazy and ask 500 questions and I can't even keep up. So if you just mention something, I'll wait a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So let's take a look here. We'll start with that. Okay. Knowing what transition to use can be difficult. Okay. Arrows, boxes, elements, following elements, zoom, and how to make a video more entertaining. Honestly want to learn visual effects, making the video into a story. Okay, so visual effects and making the video into a story are different things. So do you mean that by different things? Because DaVinci Resolve has instilled itself as an all-in-one, which we call editing. See, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking is a thing, because when we talk about editing, I feel like a lot of us talk about the whole process of making a video, from organizing your footage to actually doing the editing to doing color, doing sound, doing visual effects, finishing it out, rendering it. Like I feel like what people think of as editing sometimes, right? Need help with the fancier stuff? Yes, I want to learn visual effects. I'm good with editing. Need a masterclass on what every or most nodes do in Fusion. There's a guy who did this for AE, a few videos, 30 minutes or less, and it was tremendously helpful to me. Ooh, that's a good idea. Definition of editing is still confusing. Okay. Hard time wrapping my head around the editing versus Premiere Pro. I'm okay with editing processes, the fancier stuff. That's a huge hurdle for me. Can't tell a story for crap. And the technical clicking and clacking and Resolve, I suck at that too. Interesting. Okay. All right. Eric from Kansas, what is hard about that? Like, what do you feel like it's hard to ask this because you sometimes don't know what you don't know, but what do you feel like is mostly in the way? Well, what's your suspicion of what's in the way? Editing is putting together a video and learning B-roll, J-cuts, vid transition, slicing, etc. Yes, agreed. Yep. What is the best way to make a show reel in DaVinci, like shots from tons of projects? Sure. What about doing an editing with animation like scenes from Clip Studio, like an animation sequence? Dude, I would love to do that, Kent. I love animation stuff. It's one of those things where I feel like it's so niche, like, and not a whole lot of people are into it, that it's kind of, I wouldn't say not worth it, but like there are things that I feel like more people are into than that we could probably get a little more bang for our buck. You know what I mean? But man, I love animation. I want to get into that so much. What's up, John Adams? Good to see you, man. Would be great if you could tell us your workflow for recording videos for YouTube, gear setup, workflow, and everything related. Ooh, yeah. If we have time today, we could go over that. That'd be cool. Ask me if we kind of like wind down a little bit here. I'd like to shoot videos on Insta 360. This is a 360 video which needs to be processed. Yeah, I haven't even gotten into that at all. I would love to look at that at some point, but I just don't have any experience with that. So ingest and metadata, how to add simple text for a finance channel, knowing how to add sound effects and different things in videos. That's the definition that comes to my head. Basically, resolve equals editing. Yes, exactly. I think that's sort of like the hurdles that we're kind of going over when we say, okay, we're going to teach you editing. Everybody thinks we're going to teach you everything. And that's not the class that we were designing. And so I'm like, what do we do? It'd be helpful to have content on quick turnaround with repurposing content for different platforms. Like Premiere Pro has great tools like auto caption, but DaVinci doesn't. Yeah, auto caption would be great for DaVinci, man. I can see that happening pretty quick here. There's no way it doesn't happen soon, you know? Need to know how to make a gripping beginning. Yeah. How do I use multiple images and partial videos together to make an intro video? Yep. As a really new beginner to DaVinci, I would love to see really short videos on specific things like how I can scroll a landscape image from vertical format video. Sure. Yeah. I'd like to know how to make flames come out of a logo. That'd be sick. Hey, Tensor. Yeah, good to see you. Honestly, for DaVinci, I would mainly focus on learning courses for either coloring or fusion. Yeah, and that's kind of what we hear a lot is like, we've been designing this editing class and we're not like super far into it, but we've been making the material for it. And we kind of realized the other day, it's like, wait a minute, like, do people really want an editing class, or would it be better to make other things? And so I just threw a huge freaking monkey in the wrench the other day. It was like, you know how we were thinking about recording this next week? What if we don't? And everyone's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just think about it for a second. So we're thinking. All right. Sorry if I'm missing anybody. There's quite a few, even in slow mode here. Editing is only one part of the whole. Resolve is the only way to not have to round trip for audio and VFX, which means unlearning After Effects for Fusion. Yep. Thanks, it's totally worth it. I mean, we could do color grading and putting sound together in animation and make a short animation like 5 minutes. Sure. Is there a Discord server where skilled people can answer newbies' questions? Yeah, we have a Discord server for people that buy our training. It's kind of a private Discord server. There is a really cool Discord server. It's a DaVinci Resolve community, which is really neat. And there are links to it on Jake Whipp's channel. He runs that. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. I definitely check it out. Primarily, not sure what to include in to get my story across. Sorry. I sort of do vlogs, how-tos, and feel like I get buried in the details. Yeah. So like there's so much there that you're like, where do I even start? What do I do? 3-point versus 4-point editing on the timeline, all the tools, all the methods. Sure. Cut tab honestly feels like deep magic. Don't quote to me the deep magic. I was there when it was written. And I'd love to know how to use it for a more complex project with multiple sources. Yes, me too. Actually, I've been looking into that a little bit, looking into the cut page, because I feel like it's one of those tools that is so good and people just don't get it yet. You know, it's like before its time. It's like the Sega of tools. You know, it's the Sega Genesis, the Dreamcast of tools. Transitioning from Premiere so I don't use the cut page. So I think the editing course has value so I can learn a better workflow, but I don't feel like editing is a pain point for me. See, and that's the thing, is I feel like we hear a lot of, I don't know the workflow, I don't know how it all goes together, whereas like the actual like nitty-gritty of editing, one big thing is that it's so similar between different programs that it's like, well, if you know how to edit in Premiere, honestly, you can probably pick up the edit page within a couple hours and feel pretty good. That's my thought. Just because it's laid out almost exactly the same. It works the same, you know? Now, if you don't know anything about editing at all, it's going to have a learning curve, just like Premiere or Final Cut or Vegas or HitFilm or anything would have a learning curve, you know? I'd like to see more project edits of different types to get an idea of how things are put together. Ooh, okay, so like multiple different examples of things. How to render from GoPro footage so that it isn't under garbage looking on YouTube would be a massive help. Yes, yes. That have you checked out, Hutchie, have you checked out my render science, like render settings video? Because that would be my first place to go. Pretty much do that. The issue is from an external POV a lot. Confuse editing with compositing motion graphics. Like literally whatever you can do in an editor, a lot becomes editing. Yes, yes. I personally would love to see editing that is around creating a YouTube video rather than filmmaking. For example, the sort of transitions and text usage that make classic video essays look great. Sure. Okay, so when you ask that, highly tarnished, this kind of brings me to another point here. That there's a perception of what a professional video looks like, and then there's what most professional videos actually look like, and they're different, okay? So a lot of the time, I feel like, especially newbies, will come into video editing and they'll say, for mine to look professional, for my video to look professional, I have to have all the coolest graphics, I have to have all these transitions, everything has to be like really flashy. And 99% of the time, okay, maybe not 99, 80% of the time, a professional video doesn't have that stuff. It's literally just, it has a good story, it's timed well, and it's just cuts. You know what I mean? And so a lot of that making something professional, like when you look at like, okay, if you try and get a job doing video production and you go to like a producer who was going to hire somebody and you show them all of your fancy like transitions and all these crazy things that you can do, I pretty much guarantee you it's not that impressive. Not that impressive. Okay? Like nobody cares what kind of fancy transition you can do if you can't tell a story. Sorry for that. Sorry for the tough love there, but like that's a thing. And so that's also kind of another layer of this, is that perception of what makes a professional video and what actually makes a professional video is different on the internet. You know, same for YouTube, you know, YouTube stuff. It's like, if you want to learn how to do all those crazy transitions and you want it to like snap, zoom and do all this stuff, that's cool, but it's like the icing on the cake, right? Probably the most useful tutorials you could make would be helping people transition from AE to Fusion. Compositing layers is way different than nodes, plus different workflows. Puppet Pin, yeah. They actually do have a thing that's a lot like Puppet Pin, that I think got hidden or taken away or something. I don't know. I was trying to find it the other day. It was like kind of weird. Anyway, how to edit vlogs to make them look polished. Yeah. So when you say polished, what does that mean, Chris Knight? Can you splice multiple videos together to produce one video? Yep. And it works the same way as editing any videos together, you know, any clips together. What's up, Casey? Big fan of nationally touring stand-up comic. That is awesome. And I send comics to your channel all the time to learn how to make videos for social using Resolve. That's so cool, Barry. Hey, thank you. That's really neat. I love that. I gotta check out some of your stuff. Let me email me, casey@rthstudios.com. That'd be sweet. I'd love to check it out. Really need help with adding basic animations, transitions, and compositing, adding sound effects for the animations. Okay. Making how videos look better. How-to videos look better. Yeah. Would like to get Particles in Fusion to form the name of my church in an intro video. Yeah. I actually have I have a video on that. I think it's called like Intro to Particles or something. It just says Particles in the thumbnail. I'm an architect who loved DaVinci a lot. Nice. Editing a dialogue sequence and action sequence. Yeah, yeah. Personally, working with workflow from idea, putting things together, scripting to the finished product would be great. Editing, etc. would be learned through experience, I think. You're awesome. Hey, thank you. That's awesome. Is there a better way to do subtitles? In Resolve right now, I think you have to type it in. I think you can like put your video in an automatic subtitling tool and then import the subtitles. I think there's ways to do that, although I haven't done it a whole lot. Man, like I have slow mode on and it's still like I'm still way behind, guys. It's crazy. All right. Advanced VFX and Fusion. Thank you for all your work. Hey, thank you. Nodes confuse the heck out of me. Would love a series of videos explaining the different nodes do and are. Yeah, I actually have been posting a lot of those on my shorts. I know a lot of people are not super excited about the shorts, but believe me, we are doing normal videos as well. Those are just also happening. So think about it as a bonus, okay? Been a professional editor for 10 years, having problems explaining basic editing techniques to my bosses and having issues with them telling me to do bad editing techniques. Okay, so like what? The Fallen Victim. I would love to hear a little more about that. My problem is when I update an animation done in Blender, for example, or 3D software, it's fewer than imported frames. Is it okay? If more, I can't update the duration to more. I would assume that's a frame rate thing, but I don't know. I don't know. The basics, and they want to see professionalism. Yes. Course on how to find work as a freelancer, not editing, not compositing, just in real life way to get the first job. Yes, that's a great idea. So like that kind of thing I feel like is probably a little out of our niche though. It's a little bit out of the DaVinci Resolve kind of thing, you know, the post-production thing. Although that's a really cool thing. Maybe we could do a YouTube video on that. That'd be cool. Why is the surface tracker in the color tab? I don't know how to composite in the color tab. Yes, everybody knows that. Everybody also agrees with you. Even people at Blackmagic, I was talking with them. They're like, yeah, we know. We're trying. From what I understand, it's easier for them to develop things for the color page because they've been working on it for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, where like Fusion is still slightly new to the Blackmagic family. As far as I know, that's a thing, but I don't know. Biggest pain point is moving away from After Effects. Find it hard to create motion graphics in Fusion. I think a spline keyframe tutorial would be helpful. I may use Blender for that, even for 2D. Yeah, what's interesting is that Blender uses nodes too, Glenn. So like, why would you use Blender instead? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just like, is there something I'm missing with Blender? Because I'm pretty sure you composite with nodes in Blender, and it's like very similar to Fusion. They have a similar tool to Puppet Pin, but it's in the paid version. I used it in the. I have the paid version. It's weird. I don't know. All right. Love to learn how to do geo layers type work. I love nodes, but it doesn't have support of After Effects. Yeah, that's true. Let's say we have a story and we have an animator. What if he did the animation and I have a story only short clips, like 10 to 20 seconds of each sequence? How would we collab? Could do a collab and say how we would do it. Yeah, I mean, maybe something like that. That's the thing though, is like, that's the hard part about doing a YouTube channel, guys, and like having people actually watch it, is that it's not that I don't ever want to do things that like I just want to do, but I want to maximize our time, right? So if I'm going to make 2 videos a week, I want those videos to apply to the most people, you know, just because I want to help the most people, right? That's not saying that I would never do an animation video, but it's like the amount of people that are into animation versus like vacation videos is like, that's a big difference. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to make that call, you know, put yourself in my shoes. You know what I mean? Can you suggest going to 18 beta or sticking with 17? 18 beta all the way, for sure. Yep. I wouldn't even hesitate. It's great. I've been using it for all kinds of stuff. Haven't had any problems. Like anything more than I would with 17. Like it's probably crashed once or twice, just like 17 does every once in a while, but it's been fine. Like it's been great. And honestly, it works a lot better. Like as far as like the performance and stuff, performance is noticeably better in 18, especially with Fusion stuff. What do you suggest to add to your sports tutorial videos to make it more intriguing? I mean, it would depend on the video, you know? How do you move fusion compositions from one project to another with a minimum extra work? By the way, I like the shorts. It's like a mini encyclopedia of quick tips. Hey, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, we'd have to go over like moving fusion compositions and stuff. Yeah. Film the solstice sunset. Could you suggest how to grade it orange and teal, please? I mean, if it's something like a sunset with like which is probably just a great big gradient, I'd probably just use the gain and the lift and bring the lift a little cooler and the gain a little bit warmer. I'd probably just start with that, see how it goes. What's up, Justin? Good to see you, man. Can you explain B-spline node? No. No, I'm just kidding. We'd have to get into it and stuff, which I'm just for anybody who's like just coming in here, what I'm doing is I want to kind of nail down what most people are interested in when it comes to like, if we're going to make a masterclass on something, what would be the very most helpful thing? We've been talking about doing an editing class, but there's a couple problems with that. Is one, I don't know how much help people actually need with editing. And two, I don't know how well editing is defined, right? So when I say editing, do you think of cutting things up in the timeline, or do you think of everything that Resolve does? You know? So it's kind of one of those things that's a little bit hard to, if it's hard to define and it's hard to know if you need it or if you want to learn it, then it's going to be hard for us to get people to watch it. So you see our problem there. How often do you get told you look like discount Ryan Reynolds? It's true. I get that I sound like Ryan Reynolds and look like Elon Musk. I get that quite a bit. I think it's called Warper. Yep. It's called Warper, the puppet tool thing. Yep. It's easier to animate lots of individual objects in Blender. It seems like the Fusion UI is only good at animating a few objects. Yeah, maybe so. What's the workflow for EXR image sequences from Blender to Fusion? Yeah, that's actually something I'm working on right now. We're doing some stuff with Blender Fusion. Definitely getting a lot more into Blender and how Fusion works with it. Thank you for all the great tutorial videos. Hey, thanks, Hachi. It's awesome. Can you please make tutorials recreating popular Andrew Kramer After Effects tutorials in Fusion? Oh, I've been thinking about that. Like, dude, everybody who's ever learned After Effects knows that Andrew Kramer's the man. And I never want to discount from him, which is what's stopping me from doing that. I never want to be like, I'm just ripping him off. But like, it's really great, really, really great material that's designed for After Effects. And like, it'd be kind of cool to do something like that. I don't know. I don't know. You just popped my recommended while trying to search for this. Is there a way to manually crop besides adding green squares all over the rendering and then removing the green screen? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Don't do it that way. There's in the edit page. Let me just do this. I'm just going to save somebody's time here. In the edit page, select a clip and go here to this thing in the timeline viewer and go to crop, and you can crop things like that. Please do that. Please don't do the green screen thing. That sounds awful. I feel your pain there. Ugh. This channel's been a lifesaver. Hey, thank you. That's cool. Career gig, anything slightly paid advice for the hobbyist with dreams. Ooh, Nick, that's great. Okay. Let's start to organize this discussion a little bit. Okay. Let's organize this. Guys, if you're posting in chat, I'm going to try to get to your stuff, but I might not. And I am going to try and keep things like focused on what we're talking about. So if you feel ignored, it's not my intention to ignore you. It's just the nature of live streaming. Okay. So let's get to this here. I have a couple of questions and I want you guys to answer these directly. so that we can have some creepy data and make things you guys want. All right. Okay. So this is the question. What is in the way of you creating what you want in DaVinci Resolve? What is like, I think that's a good question to ask, because if the goal is you being able to make whatever you want, to be creative, right? Knex, I will never stop making these shorts. If you don't like them, don't watch them. That came across real harsh, didn't it? It's true though. Everyone's like, oh gosh, Dad just yelled at someone. Okay. What is in the way of you creating what you want in DaVinci Resolve? If the goal is to actually have that kind of creative freedom, what's in the way? Doesn't come with a built-in audio reactor like After Effects. Hey, will you guys, if you are directly answering this question, will you put it in all caps? Will you put it in all caps, please? If you already posted something that's not in all caps, will you repost when the timer runs out? Because that's just going to help me not get confused if you're talking about something else. Okay. So that's what I would like. So all caps. I'll just put this up here. So then I know. What? Sam's cracking up in the background. Okay. Mastering Fusion and Fairlight. Okay. Let's say Fusion. Let's make these a pretty blue. Okay. Fusion. Fairlight. Okay. White balance. Lack of knowledge. No audio reactor. No experience. Mixing different cameras. Okay. Fusion is the big hill I'm having trouble getting over. Okay. In my way of creating is finding the right music for videos, the right sounds for the edits. Usually I find a workaround about the video editing part. There being more options for one edit. What do you mean by that? Sheer enormity of what you can do and trying to learn without editing experience. So much to learn. Okay. What's in my way is having no clue about how to set up presets, I guess. I drop my clips into make the chopping. Oh, like you don't have any presets to make the chopping. Oh, okay. So there's no like editing templates kind of thing, right? Do you mean like a timeline template? Like where you... It's like how to kind of organize your story or your timeline or whatever? Is that what you mean? Okay. 3D effects. Not be able to snap things in the viewer. Yeah, that's frustrating. Multicam. Sync. Okay. Editing techniques to make the best edutainment videos. Okay, so when you say editing techniques, Michael, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like putting shots together in a timeline? Or do you mean color correcting? Getting the most out of your footage. More powerful computer. Okay, I can't fix that for you. I'm sorry. Color infusion, fusion, proxies, files, file management. I'm just kind of throwing these at the board here. Cutting process. Not how to cut, but the thought process of cutting. Okay. Use of keyframes. So animation. Okay. All of those. Yes, yes, and yes. Need a class resolve 100 your first 5-minute movie. Can that be done in a 1-hour tutorial? Ooh, that's a good idea. What would be helpful about that? Like what are you looking to gain if we had a class like that, Daniel? Confusion about all the different pages, okay? And how to connect the work. You guys, this is amazing. Thank you so much for giving us this feedback. This is stuff we're going to use forever to make better stuff. Okay. Like how to open the Fusion clip I want. Yeah. So just pages. Let's go with pages. Timeline management. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? When editing the certain part of the video, a certain zoom, for example, there are a couple options to do the same thing. The music, sometimes I look for hours and I can't find a good one. Okay. There are a couple options to do the same thing. Oh, like, so what option do you use? Like if you're going to zoom into the video, which option do you use? Okay. Shut up, Alexa. Anyway. Okay. Can you do anything in the free version of Resolve? Do you mean by like, does it do anything, or is there any limit? Yes, it does stuff, and yes, there are limits, but they're very minimal. Most of the things you want to do, you can do in the free version for sure. Workflow tips and organizing lots of footage. Yep. Okay. Color correction of GoPro media using DWG color management workflow. Ooh, interesting. More along the lines of how to best tell a story with my footage. Okay. All right. So that's a little bit of story. Okay. Let's put this in black here so we can see. Make this bigger. All right, slow motion. Is it possible to align the video I make crop directly in the center? Yeah, you can do that in the inspector here. So there's a cropping feature, which is right behind my camera conveniently, but there's a crop feature right here, and you can like crop the left and the right the same amount if you want to. Sorry, that's just quick. Understanding how all the basics fit together, aligning external audio, delivery quality options. Okay, so rendering. Okay. Export your tracking data. There's probably a way to do that. What are you wanting to export it to? Is there automation in DaVinci? Yeah. You mean like audio animation automation? And cuts or changes in audio without it seeming obvious. Okay, so audio editing. Okay. Reusable. Okay, making templates, right? Making templates and reusable stuff. So this is stuff that's getting in the way of you making what you want, right? Okay, we're gonna take a couple more minutes on this because I think we're getting a good pool of things here. Roto paint tools and workflows. Juan, what are you doing that takes the Roto stuff? Free versus paid version. That's what's stopping you from creating what you want? Okay. Creating music selection for videos. Picking good music. What's up, UNet? I'm live. Here we go. How to track fix occluded going out of frame objects using planar tracker. So tracking, right? Okay. Power bins, stock footage folders, then follow the new masking. Okay. Yeah, using GoPro footage, struggling with color correction. Fairlight versus Audacity. My audio is struggling. As always, stressed at how important quality audio is. Yeah. If you're familiar with Audacity, Fairlight should make some sense with a little bit of work. Where does he read these comments? Right there where you posted it. You're already doing great, AJ. Would you cover how to record in OBS to best move to resolve multiple audio track recording? How do you record your face? Yeah, that's good stuff. Probably out of your niche, but it might be good to see a video on how to film for your edit. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's kind of out of our niche is the only thing. It's really cool, and it is important. But like, we kind of got to figure out like, okay, where does ground control start and where does ground control end? You know, which we're focusing on training for post-production generally. And we're trying to figure out exactly what like the sub niche of that is, you know. How to work with Power Window and free version. It's the same as the paid version. Yeah. For me, it's subtle best practices, especially, subtitle best practices, especially for subtitles like clips like YouTube Shorts. Yeah. I need to really look into that more. I just haven't. Got worried this was a replay. Are you streaming on Twitch? No, not right now. Thanks for everything you've done, man. Learned so much. Hey, thank you. Delete audio from video clip and add audio from external mic. Yeah, so just, yeah, audio sync. So like, okay, I feel like we've pretty much covered the array of stuff here. Is there something major? I'll try and make this big enough for you guys to see. Is there something major here, or major that is like really holding you back? You're like, man, I really want to make videos. I really want to make this kind of video, but I just don't understand. Is that not here? Not right here. If there's something that isn't there, please post it in all caps right now. Media management, finding old clips. Yeah. Yeah, guys, ResolveCon. Oh, baby. Hey, we still have in-person tickets available. ResolveCon.com, guys. Check it out. We still have in-person tickets available. We have a limited number of seats. So if you guys want to come hang out with me and a bunch of other really cool people, please go there. It's $50 to reserve your seat. And you got to get yourself here. But please come hang out with us. That would be so sick. 3D renders with multiple passes. Yeah. Yep. Good actors. Same. Color grading, color page grouping. Yeah, file management's huge. What all the nodes do and what are the differences between different trackers and stuff. Okay. This is great feedback, you guys. Thank you so much. This helps so much. Blender CG compositing and fusion with live action footage. Yep. I'm interested in that too. GoPro footage color grade. Yep. That is on our radar for sure. Scared of the color page more than fusion. What's scary about the color page, PGP? I love this because I can ask those follow-up questions. Quick YouTube podcast workflow. Okay, so do you mean like two people talking like a two camera shoot, two people talking to microphones kind of thing? Product review. Voiceover subtitle on moving track for animation voiceover. Convolution reverb. Best ways to use generators. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like we've listed a lot of these things. Okay. So let's take a second and think about, okay, what's kind of common here? I think this will help. this will help me, but I think it'll also help you guys kind of realize how related some things are, right? So, okay. So we have syncing stuff. Those kind of go together. We have audio, editing, that kind of goes with that. Mixing cameras. I think that's more of a color kind of thing. Color resolution kind of thing. There's this kind of bucket, which is there's so much to learn. There's differences in nodes. Let's see. There is, okay, under Fusion, there's probably tracking, masking. There's color stuff. Do we have color? Okay, so we have grouping and color. We have white balance, Fairlight stuff. We have 3D passes in Fusion. Lack of knowledge, no experience, all the different pages. So we're kind of getting this a little bit organized, right? No audio reactor, so that's audio stuff. Fairlight is kind of audio stuff, right? Picking good music is sort of audio stuff. It's kind of editing, I would say. Then we have kind of like workflow stuff, which would be like file management, probably rendering, proxies, 3D effects are probably in Fusion. Editing templates is kind of workflow. Animation is probably Fusion. Story is more like editing. Okay. Making templates, that would be probably workflow. Roto is Fusion. So we kind of have these like big buckets here, right? So we have like Fusion, we have color grading, we have that everything is just really like, okay, overwhelming. Let's make like categories here. All right. So there's lots to learn. It's overwhelming. We have color grading in Fusion. Editing, just kind of this sort of thing. Fairlight. All right. We have kind of workflow stuff. Okay. So these are the kind of things that seem like they're sort of a big deal, right? Let's make these look nice, shall we? Sort of nice, anyway. So it seems like there's a lot of Fusion stuff. There's a lot of, it's just kind of feels like a lot. It feels like, what do we add GoPro editing? It's the same thing as everything though. Like that's the thing is that we get like worried about our specific thing. And that's like, we get worried about our specific camera and it's not necessarily that specific. Okay. So like editing a Sony camera works just like editing a Blackmagic camera for the most part, right? There's some certain color management stuff, but for the most part, that's how it is. Okay. It's kind of similar. So this is kind of what we're getting at here is that there are these common things Okay, so then just looking this over, it seems like overwhelming and workflow could probably just about go together, right? Like, okay, think about this. For anybody here who said all this other stuff, if we had a class on this is the workflow of creating something in Resolve, and it's a deep dive into making your time count, going quickly, setting up templates, and not being overwhelmed by all of this stuff, but using the things that are like important. How awesome would that be? Like, would that pretty much do it for you? Or is it, or you're like, no, I don't really need that. So 1, if you're like, that would be the bomb and would fix so much stuff, that would empower me. Okay. 1 in chat. If the answer to overwhelm and workflow class would be amazing. 1 in chat if that would be amazing. And this is not, we're not going to have any other classes. But if that's a big deal, let me know. Because it sounds like it's a big deal to a lot of people. Basic compositing workflows like 3D camera tracking, camera projections, cleanups, and rotating. Yes. Yep. Okay, so it sounds like this is kind of a reasonable bucket to think about. This overwhelming in workflow kind of bucket, right? So I have a follow-up question to this here in a minute. To both of these, actually. So this is 1. Thank you guys so much. This is so cool. So helpful. Hey, Sam, isn't this helpful? So helpful. I love it. Go back to work, Sam. So, I love Sam so much. That poor soul has to listen to my uncut ramblings, and he makes it watchable. What a genius. Freaking genius, that Sam. Okay. Just tuning in, but I'd like to see your take on how to create different types of content, gaming, streaming, blog style. Yes. Yep. Okay. Okay, so that's 1 bucket, is kind of this overwhelming workflow bucket. Okay. The other one seems to be Fusion. I know people really want to learn more about Fusion. Okay. And believe me, that is definitely on our radar. Fusion is like, it's kind of the same thing. It's one of those just insanely powerful and amazing programs. And it's also really intimidating, you know? What's an editing template? So I don't know. It's kind of like we're sort of making that up. Like, how do you put together a certain kind of video, and like you drop stuff in here to kind of make stuff like that. I think like GoPro Quick has stuff like that. It's like where you tell it like what shots you have, and then it just kind of like lines it out, you know? Okay. So we got Fusion stuff. So to me, this looks like the majority of stuff that we're really having trouble with, the things that are keeping us back, other than probably, it seems like mostly Fusion and kind of the workflow. How do I do everything together? How does everything fit together? Like, how do I work quickly kind of thing? Those are kind of the main things. I know there's a lot of concern about audio, and I know there's a lot of concern about color grading as well. Every questionnaire thing we've done about Fairlight, there are a few people that really want it, and then there's a lot of people who don't care. You know what I mean? And it's important, but it's like, we're not going to probably make a huge class if like only 5% of people actually want the class. Does that make sense? I second the social media pop-ups would also add follow, like, subscribe. Sure. Working with different resolution and frame rates at the same time on one timeline. Yeah. Maybe partner with Fairlight Audio Specialist on that subject. Yeah, possibly. Audio correction, please. Dramatic color correction, please. What do you mean by dramatic color correction? How would you do that? Do the editing, would organize the clips, then do color grading and then sequence. Yeah, so that's like the, yeah, that's a workflow thing, basically. So what I'm, now tell me if you think this is right, okay? What I'm hearing from you, I'm trying to listen here. What I'm hearing from you guys is that the editing thing, as far as an editing class goes, what you would expect from an editing class, if I were going to say, here's how to edit, that most of us would expect a workflow kind of thing. Here's how you make a video in Resolve, right? Does that sound right? And again, I don't think that's necessarily how you would define editing, but I feel like that's how most people think of editing. And so when you say, I need help editing a video, what you really mean is you need help with the workflow, not specifically where to put a clip, how to build a story. Okay, so if that's the case, I like project-based courses. Me too. Yeah. How to work faster, how to organize stuff. Okay. So that sounds like a big deal. Okay. Then here's the other question then. Here's the other question. If we were going to make a workflow, what kind of projects would you want us to go over? Like if we were going to make a project and say, all right, this is how you make a blank video. What kind of video? Respond in all caps, please. Tutorials, like how to make a tutorial. YouTube. So what do you mean by YouTube? What kind of YouTube stuff? Shorts, documentaries, vlogs, let's play. We got short film, nightlife video. What does that mean? Like these guys went to a party and it was cool video? I'm a dad. I literally am not cool. So I don't know what a nightlife video is. Is it probably set to like a G6, most likely? Most likely. How to, educational, action, short film, cinematic. What do you mean by cinematic? How to, got short films, how to-ish vlog, okay. Vlogs, okay. Documentary short films like you did, okay. Vacation videos. That's basically like a vlog though, I would say. Animation. Educational explainer videos. Music videos. I mean a cinematic edit. Okay, I don't know what that means though. Like, what do you mean a cinematic edit? Like for a film? Commercials. I was gone for the past 10 minutes. I see a new question. What did I miss? This is the question. Workflow course on what kind of video project? So we were talking about how what's in the way of you creating what you want in DaVinci Resolve. A lot of people said it's the workflow and that things are overwhelming and I don't quite know what order to do things, what to do next, how to kind of do this big picture thing. It can be intimidating when you jump into something like Resolve and you're like, where do I go? What do I do? What is this? Why is this? So if it's a workflow course on how to work faster, how to do things well, what's kind of the professional way to do things, what kind of video do you want to learn that with? Like if we had a couple of projects to learn on, what should we make? YouTube video that includes still image video clips and text screens. Yeah. Okay. Product review. Okay. Yeah. Product reviews. How do I automate programs and software? Interviews. Okay. So that'd probably fall under documentaries, I would think. Interviews. It's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? How to stop yourself from using too many transitions. I'll give you guys a quick course on that. All right. Here's a quick course. Okay. Here's how to use not too many transitions. Up here in the effects page of Resolve, you can scroll down here to video transitions. And here we have all kinds of transitions. Okay. What you're going to want to do is close this and never open it again. Don't use those. Don't use them. Just don't. Don't do it. If you're gonna, okay, I'm kidding a little bit, but if you're gonna go from one direction to the other, don't use them. Just don't. It's safer not to use them, in my opinion. Okay. But I am notorious for hating transitions. So that's just my opinion. I've seen transitions used very well, but it's from very, very experienced people that know how to wield that responsibility. It is Spider-Man editors that will do that, right? It is mature Spider-Man editors. You're not kidding. That's facts. It is kind of facts. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. What's the name of the video of Kevin's bar that you did? Oh, I don't even remember. I don't remember. Ugh. Peter Parker's not Miles Morales. Has got it. Yes, exactly. Yep. Automation programs and software worth checking out. I'm not totally sure what you mean. Honestly, I'd be happy with doing most of those. I think the important part is the overwhelming workflow part. Yes. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, I think this is a great start. Like to me, the ones that seem like we're most likely to do would be a short film, because we love making short films. Documentary, pretty good at documentaries. We got to kind of focus on our strengths too here. Like, I'm not going to teach you how to do something I've never done, right? Shorts, documentaries, product review, could probably do that. I'll just make these green, I guess. Let's Play Gaming, could totally do one of those. So, okay, then here's a follow-up question. We can definitely do vlogs, music videos. Either of those are probably easy. How-tos. We can do a lot of these, actually. But again, it's like it's good to use examples that are going to apply to the most people. You know what I mean? So, but okay, so here's a follow-up question. When you guys say let's play in gaming, right? what is the workflow problems there? Okay, so let's just talk about workflow problems on any of these actually. Okay, so shorts, documentaries, product reviews, or let's play, probably any of these. Okay, what's the main workflow problem you have? Like, what is confusing? What's difficult? What's the big thing? Like the first thing you run into? Okay. Okay, so let's say, what's the workflow hurdle? Okay, what's the workflow hurdle with one of these videos? Making. Okay. So like you sit down to do a short film, all right? Let's say that you shot a short film, or your friend who knows how to shoot short films gives you the film and says, all right, edit it. What's in the way of that? The footage is not that good. Okay, we can't fix that in post. As much as people will tell you you can, you can't. How to put all my B-roll highlights together to make a story. Okay, so montage to make a story. Let's color these a different color, I guess. Just put these up here. It's a little easier to see. I don't know if it'll be easier to see, but my guys might have to do full screen if you're not. Which music to put where? I know this is sort of similar to what we did, but we're focusing on workflow here because I want to make the best workflow thing ever. Okay. File management, color grading, motion graphics. Color graphics. Okay, so like settings, like somebody said frames per second, right? Settings. What to cut and what to keep. Okay. How to decide what to include. Cut, keep. Music or sound effects do I put where? Okay. Music and sound effects. Dimension of the video. What do you mean? Like the resolution? For gaming, I think it's storytelling and graphics overlays that I feel like they need to work with the footage. Honestly, mine are generic now that I think of it. Okay. What kind of gaming videos do you do, Nerdy Gamer Gal? Like, are you doing like reviews? Are you doing playthroughs? Are you doing highlights? Like what's up? File management, mine is sloppy as hell. Yeah, that'll do it. It's so, like, that's one of those things that it's sort of boring, but it's so important, you know? YouTube automation, any programs? Do you mean like for uploading and stuff? I use TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy's pretty good. Tips for quicker ways to cut up very long clips that contain multiple takes. Yeah, so it's cutting down footage, right? So that's how to decide what to cut and keep. That makes sense. For how-to vlogs, there's often a whole process that I want to show, but it's often long. How do I show a whole process? Okay. How to compress time. Yes, good. ToothBuddy, it's TubeBuddy, like YouTube. TubeBuddy. Various for film industry work, jobs, and freelance. Okay. So like how to get a job kind of thing. You don't need graphics for gaming vids. I would agree, but it depends on what you're doing. How to make text titles efficient. Premiere Pro is so much faster. Yeah, that's probably true in some ways. I think there's some really great title tools in Resolve 18 now. I think it's just a hurdle of getting used to it. Montage to make a story. Upon making YouTube videos, I have trouble with inserting images in my videos in the editing page. Okay, so adding images. Okay. Audio mixing. Syncing audio. Finding old clips. So like that's like an organizational thing, I would think. How to make Fusion plugins like the progress bar to make it reusable. Yeah, so you must have just watched that. I mean, that's literally how you do all of it. Like pretty much. It's the same thing. Which I know is easy for me to say, but hard to actually put into practice, but it is. Cutting the film sound, what to do and why in Resolve. Okay. How to make beat synced photo slideshow. Okay, syncing to music. Keyboard shortcuts. You can literally drop one in and type in it what you want to say. Yeah, you can do that in Resolve too. Yep, same thing. When will your DaVinci Resolve course be on sale? We do have sales from time to time. Actually, it was which course? The intro course? Making non-obnoxious transitions. Yep. That's a quick tutorial. No, I'm just kidding. There are ways to make classy transitions that I fully support. Somebody already say licensed music. Yeah, don't use licensed music. Like, unless you're working with an actual company that license it, just pretty much don't do it. Just don't do it. How to make storytelling montage in DaVinci Resolve. Please explain complete workflow. Okay. So you mean like how to tell a story, right? Yeah, montage to make a story, right? Copyright and fair use. Yeah. Meant for Resolve, you literally drop in a title in your timeline and type what you want to say. It doesn't get easier faster than that. Exactly. Yep. Okay. So for this workflow then, workflow stuff, it sounds like there should be some color. We should touch on color. We should touch on audio mixing. We should touch on settings and keyboard shortcuts. We should do how to compress time, how to decide what to keep, how to make a montage and tell the story. Let's see, music and sound effects. Let's see, syncing to music. Let's just go with something like that. Audio mixing, syncing. Sam's cracking up back there. Okay. File management. So this is kind of like stuff that happens really before the edit, right? Graphics, adding images. So this would be like in the editing kind of side. Color, graphics. So this seems like what would be really helpful. Tell me if I'm right here. Will this live be saved? Yep, it'll be saved. I don't know how helpful it will be to watch this afterwards because it's mostly me talking and discussing with you, but you can totally watch it afterwards. Yeah, slow motion. Okay. Okay, so let's pretend like we're making a class here that's going to be the bomb. Okay, the bomb diggity, as the kids say. Do they say that? Probably not. I imagine if there's something I think the kids say, they likely don't say it. I'm not cool, don't worry. It sounds like there is... Okay, if we were to have a class that went through, okay, I'm going to teach you the best workflow in DaVinci Resolve to make a short film, a documentary, and a like how-to video or a let's play or something. It's like 3 or 4 smaller projects, let's say. And we're going to go through the very best settings and the best way to manage your files. We're going to go through how to kind of build a story in the edit page, how to compress time, how to kind of work with things in the timeline a little bit, how to add music and sync things up, work with audio a little bit, how to color correct it so it looks good, how to add graphics so it looks good. Would that be a slam dunk, or is it missing something? Or is it too much? Okay, what would we cut out? What's the more important thing then, if it's too much? He's developing the story you want to tell. Yeah, that's right here. Montage to make a story. Yep. As long as you weren't rushing it so we could follow along. Yes. So we're talking about making a masterclass here, which are the ones that you download and are for sale on Ground Control, and are you can download footage and follow along, that kind of thing, right? What's up, Camera Tim? Doing well. Doing well. Thank you for being here. Separate chapters. Yep. All separate chapters. Yep. Keyboard shortcuts isn't really part of workflow. Yeah, it's kind of in the settings thing. It's kind of before. Right. So this would be kind of like settings, editing, audio, and then like finishing, right? Let's just go with that kind of thing, right? So those are kind of the big categories. I know it's a little hard to see with my camera and stuff. But finishing, yeah. We're basically designing a course here, because I'm just asking people I'm asking you guys what you want to learn, and we're gonna make a class about it, or at least consider making a class about it. I can't guarantee stuff because I have to talk with the team and stuff, but we want to try and get as close as we can to what will actually help you guys create things. And we can take away all the stuff that's in the way of you being able to just sit down at Resolve and just make what you want to make. You know what I mean? Color correcting cut out, that is more trial and error anyways. Is it? Is it? I don't know about that. On a lot of in-depth Fusion tutorials only for specific effects. Ooh, look, something jacked up. Okay, we're okay. It's okay. It's better. It's better now. I'm 100%. You do a masterclass on Fusion-focused VFX and layering compositions, etc. As in how to add depth to the VFX so that it fits well in the environment, doesn't look like an overlay. Yes, we are going to work on that. We are doing that. Yep. The plan is to have some sort of Fusion course here pretty soon, but not right this minute. Happy to see you live. Left a comment in this morning's video. Appreciate what you do. Hey, thank you, Chewy. Appreciate that. This really helps. Just talking this out helps me better understand how to think about editing and the terminology more. Still a noob after years. Yeah. Good. I'm glad it's helpful. Okay. So I think my thoughts on that. Oh, putting a voice, like doing audio stuff to make somebody sound like their voice is in a cave or underwater or something. Yeah, that's cool. What's the flowchart? It's called Miro, Miro.com. See it up here? Miro.com. Super good. Super good. Okay, so something like this, some kind of workflow thing. One could cut it up and then tackle each section in a separate video. That's true. We could. What I think I'm leaning towards here is like a master the DaVinci Resolve workflow kind of course, right? Something like that. Which we actually have a course kind of like this. It's called the YouTube Editor's Master Training. It's very similar to this, actually. Very similar. It is going to be outdated sort of soon. That's the thing, is like with Resolve, stuff doesn't... it's technically outdated, but it works the same, right? So like if you get the YouTube course right now, it's recorded on Resolve 16, works exactly the same. It's the same thing. This would be a paid course and probably related YouTube videos for free. Yes. Workflow going from Fusion to Color and back can be daunting because they don't play directly with each other, especially since Fusion works in linear. Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Can you see you edit a video from start to finish? Yes. That's kind of the plan. Again, we also have a course that's on that called DaVinci Resolve 17 end-to-end. We all get a cut. In a way you do, yes. But in another, more accurate way, you get to learn. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is like a master the Resolve workflow that will go a lot into settings and editing stuff and kind of big picture stuff, a lot into audio, probably pretty heavily into settings, editing, and audio, and then touch on color and graphics a little bit, because we have a course on color is one thing. I have a lot of videos on color. And we're also going to be making some more content on Fusion. So how do I track a moving Fortnite skin in DaVinci Resolve? I would have to see the clip. I'm not sure. Okay. So something like that. That's kind of what I think we're going towards. I did want to, this is sort of related. This is sort of what we were doing. What would your dream masterclass be for DaVinci Resolve? Yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to kind of go over here. So what's in the way of you creating what you want? Okay. So for the last couple minutes, I do have to go here pretty soon, but for the last couple minutes, tell me about Fusion. What do you guys want when it comes to a Fusion course? What would you expect? What would you expect from a Fusion masterclass of some kind? Respond in all caps, please. Lots of how-tos. Well, that seems like a good idea. Seems like a good idea. Video telling about what skills we need to start a career in compositing. Ooh, okay. Career advice. I did not spell that right. That's probably right. Okay. Reusable graphics. Thank you, 4K. I appreciate that. Okay. Understand what Fusion even is. What's it for? What does it do? Okay. What the H is Fusion? Okay. All the nodes. VFX. VFX layering strategies. Yep. Compositing and CG compositing. Yep. Okay. How to deal with difficult shots. So tracking, like real world stuff. That makes sense. How to package an effect for redistribution, like how to make a template. Okay. Optimizing a Fusion comp because there are so many ways to accomplish the same thing. Okay, yeah, optimizing. Optimizing comps. Yep. Splendor a free download. Yep. Strategies basically planning as crap gets harder. Yes, a template for advanced compositing. Sure. How to blend 3D and footage to make a realistic take. Yep. P emitter. Hi man, how are you? I wish you the best day and thank you so much for you help me a lot of the time to make me laugh. And one thing I want to ask about DaVinci, if I may, we probably aren't going to have time to go over like specific questions. We're kind of just going over this right now. I would love to do another session like this though. 2D tracking, 3D tracking, clean up, camera projections, etc. All the basic yet important stuff. Okay. First, I'd like to thank you for all the videos you've done so far. I've learned a lot and enjoy learning more. Thank you. So many all caps. Yep, that's the point. That's the point. Okay, so this is kind of the stuff that you would expect, right? Lots of VFX, reusable graphics, how to make templates, reusable transitions, that kind of thing. Okay. Another question then, real quick, and then we got to go. For a Fusion masterclass, would you rather, can you post this in chat, 1, 2, or 3? If you were going to have one class in Fusion, let's say, if you were going to get one class, would you rather have it just be a lot of stuff about graphics, a lot of stuff about visual effects, or would you want a class on both? Like, are there people that really want VFX and don't care about graphics? Are there people that really want graphics and don't care at all about VFX? Let's see, mostly 2s and 3s. How can we know in advance when you do it live again? We need to be better at planning it. This was kind of a on-the-spot thing. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. So mostly both. How to have a fluid workflow in Fusion without crashing. Even when standalone Fusion, I have more crash than RoboCop in the rain. Oh, there you go. There you go. So a lot of 2s and 3s. I'm seeing very little 1s. So if we had a graphics class, that seems like less like a thing. Yeah, I guess we could do a poll. That's all right. This is fine. Resolve has been rock stable for me. Me too. I thought it's been super stable. Really like it. Okay, cool. Well, that helps. That helps me understand that a little bit. So if we had a class that was like 2/3 VFX and 1/3 graphics, does that sound good? Like it's like this is the Fusion class. You guys in like with that? All right, cool. Okay. That's what I like to hear, all the yups. Looks good to me. I'd probably personally do the graphics first so we have something to work on off the VFX. Yeah, probably so actually, because it's easier to like learn what the nodes do with graphics. And like once you get into VFX, it's like, it's kind of, there's a lot to think about, you know? I do 2 out of 6 graphics and 4 out of 6 visual. Get out of here, Joe. You troll. Need more visual effects tutorials in Fusion for sure. Yes, we definitely know that. Okay. All right. Heavier on the VFX, but the two go hand in hand really in terms of understanding how and what. I agree. That's the thing, is like the graphics are really good. Even if you're not into making graphics, it's really good to learn how Fusion works with graphics because it's just simpler, you know? So good. All right, friends, we got to head out. I got to go eat lunch. All right. I got babies waiting for me. Okay. So I'm not going to eat the babies. My babies, they're my friends. They're my children, my children, and they like to eat lunch with me. So I'm going to do that. Sam, you want to do an awkward outro with me?
Yeah. What do we do?
Come over here. Come over here. We're going to do an awkward outro, okay?
Okay.
You know what I think would be helpful
No.
is if we went ahead and just didn't